my ex-boyfriend. When we met 5 years ago at the height of the pandemic, he was 26, I was 48. He is blonde hair, blue-eyed, MAGA Republican voter who is a New York City police officer.
I can't believe I'm even saying this right now. I literally just had to unfollow Laverne Cox on all social media platforms. I'm so sorry.
Okay, the reason that this person is talking to TikTok about this is because in the actual community, nobody would talk to this person.
A lot of people are having this conversation of, can you be in a relationship with a MAGA supporter and not be held accountable? And I don't think that you really can.
It's easier to hold Laverne Cox accountable for who she's dated than it is to hold yourself accountable for what you ate last night. Maybe worry a little bit less about what's going into Laverne Cox's mouth and a little more about what's going into yours.
I don't want to be that person.
You could never be that person. You could never be that girl. You could never be that bitch. You just are not that person. But let's let you go on just a little bit.
But Laverne, Miss Cox, looks like she would date a 26-year-old white Republican.
Yeah, to be honest, right now, if you want to find something that's actually appealing, aesthetically attractive, you almost have to go right wing because the left wing has been taken over by people that frankly just aren't attractive. And who wants to date a guy that wears a bonnet in a non-ironic, non-comical way? And is this little giggle supposed to be cute? Now, what about that would make you want to sleep with someone?
And I don't think that her dating him negates what she has done for the trans community. But to date somebody that is totally against everything that you are is indeed a choice.
Most MAGA supporters aren't against everything that a trans person is. Most MAGA supporters just believe in biological reality. And if this community was healthier, they would believe in that too. What's up, everybody? Ty Rivera here, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world. All right, so in case you guys don't know, Laverne Cox is currently being canceled. And I know that was an extremely catty intro of me, but I'm so tired of these people literally trying to run the community. I mean, what even is that? Let's be honest. And these are the people that we're all supposed to be aspiring to please, because the eternally miserable LGBTQ community is upset again, but when aren't they? And the reason that they're canceling Laverne Cox is because she's doing a show that's coming up in New York, and in order to promote the show, she mentioned that she's going to be telling a story about a guy that she was dating that happened to be a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, Republican voting MAGA supporter that's a cop. And the LGBTQ community absolutely lost it and started calling for her to be canceled. And at first, it made me mad. But then it made me wonder, how far are we supposed to go to please the LGBTQ community? And at what point has a person done enough? Because for those of you who aren't familiar, Laverne Cox is a trans actress who became famous from Orange is the New Black. Right now, I think she has a show on either Hulu or Amazon Prime that's with legendary comedian George Wallace. But she really has done a lot as far as trans advocacy goes and to help with acceptance when it comes to the trans community. And she even made the cover of Time magazine at a point. But now, all of a sudden, just because she let it be known that she dated, not is dating, but dated a MAGA supporting, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, Republican voting cop, suddenly she's public enemy number one. She also let it be known that when they dated, he was 26 and she was 48.
He was 26, I was 48.
And some people lost it over that and started calling the age gap problematic. But I'm not really sure why anybody else cares what two consenting adults do. And I really think that the LGBTQ community specifically has a lot of nerve making age an issue. I mean, this is the same group that thinks a 13-year-old should be able to make irreversible changes to their body in the name of gender affirming care. But somehow they don't think that a 26-year-old is meant mentally mature enough to date a 48-year-old. Make it make sense. And so all of this combined just reaffirmed my belief that there is no group more controlling and more toxic than the left, and more specifically the LGBTQ community. And I personally am convinced that this really does come from hating. And again, I know that the beginning of this video was extremely catty, but it was meant to be. Because a part of my point in all this is, while I know that trans women aren't everybody's thing, Laverne Cox would be considered an attractive person, and it sounds like from the description, the person that she was dating was an attractive man. She also says that they were very much in love.
We were madly in love.
So it wasn't just a physical thing, and I think that does factor in as well. But I can't help but notice that everybody that's hating online happens to be a very unattractive person from the LGBTQ community. So I do think that a part of the reason that these people find it so bothersome is because Laverne Cox is an attractive person, and she was dating a person that probably is attractive as well, but that person doesn't have any of the right opinions as far as political goes. And then here they are trying their best to have all of the right opinions and still going to bed lonely every night. Not understanding and not realizing that all of having the right opinions and all of the virtue signaling that they're doing is being done for a community that will never accept them anyway. So while they're busy trying to call Laverne Cox a pick-me and saying that she just wants to be accepted by this white guy and his MAGA beliefs, the truth is they're working their hardest and tripping over their feet for a community that will never fully accept them anyway. Because as much as everybody will try to rebrand it and call it the LGBT community or the LGBTQ community or the LGBTQIA plus community, it will always be at its base the gay community. And the gay community has always been concerned and in some cases obsessed with looks as well as image. And based off of that, they will always be rejected by the community. Like calling it body positivity will never erase the fact that you could not make weight. And in the gay community, whether people want to admit it or not, it is kind of an unspoken thing that there is a weight limit to being gay. Calling yourself queer won't take away or soften the fact that nobody ever looks at you or likely ever will look at you and feel actual lust, which also is a part of the gay community. And I know some people will be like, lust is a sin. So is pride, and you can't stop that from happening every June, so do with that what you will. And also, being morally superior will not make anybody fall in love with you. So I think where a lot of the hate for Laverne Cox comes from is if you can't make weight and nobody is physically attracted to you, and the fact that you are doing your best to be morally superior won't make anybody fall in love with you, then why should Laverne Cox be able to have any of this? And why should the guy that she's with, who's supposedly doing all of the wrong things, have that as well? And not only have that, but have that with the person that you, up until recently, had idolized. But my question would be, what made a lot of you think that you mattered in the first place? I mean, when I was coming up, the people that I showed at the beginning and the people that I'm referencing now are the people that the gay men had basically friend zoned and would sit outside of the bars and cry, while the rest of us would be inside the bar dancing with people that we were actually attracted to, and in all likelihood end up hooking up with by the end of the night. And for those of you that think I'm just going completely superficial, the first thing that I'll point out is that I do think that the superficial does play into it, because I think there does have to be a reason that these people are hating on Laverne Cox in the first place. Because to me, if I really like somebody, whether it's a celebrity or a friend of mine, if they hook up with somebody and are in a relationship or tell me that they were happily in a relationship at a point, I don't really care about the details of that person as far as the way that they voted or what their religious beliefs may be or what their family's like. The only thing I ever worry about is whether or not they're being good to the person that I actually like, whether or not the person that I actually like is happy. That's the only kind of stuff that I worry about. I'm not at all coming from a hating place, but also my reality has been a lot different from the people that I'm talking about, because while some people may talk about what I've done to my face now, the fact is my life has been a beautiful existence, and there's no denying that. Even now, the people I hook up with are very attractive, and and very much into me as well. So to say that my life and their life is a little bit different would be a drastic understatement. And also the thing is, I'm not going to apologize for the life that I've had or for the choices that I've made. But the thing that you have to remember as well is that it's not all superficial when it comes to these kinds of decisions or the reasons that we may end up dating the people that we end up dating. Like when it comes to me specifically, I tend to be a bit more on the conservative side when it comes to my idea of what dating is. And a lot of times with modern LGBTQ, or more specifically queer, they'll want to be in open relationships or polyamorous relationships. So a person like myself or a person like Laverne, even though I'm not speaking for Laverne, I obviously don't know her, may be attracted to a particular person that votes conservative because in a lot of cases a person that's conservative might lean a little bit more towards something more traditional or even just being monogamous, which is what some of us are looking for. So if you consider the alternative, what exactly is the upside to dating, say, a body positive queer person that's into open relationships? I mean, not only are you fat and ugly, I don't even get you all to myself. Great. So while none of this may sound nice, at the same time, I am trying my best to really kind of paint the picture and figure out what's going on, because there is a big part of me that feels like these people are ruining what used to be the gay community and what is now the LGBTQ community. And I think that a lot of that really does come from them hating. I really do think that a lot of it does come from them not being happy with themselves, because how healthy does that sound to you, honestly? To be worried about who another person is dating, especially to a point where you either want to ruin their career or hopefully impact their life in a negative way. And unless somebody was dating somebody that was truly, truly horrible and done some really, really horrible things, I don't understand where any real judgment comes from that. And I don't understand how you think that that's coming from a healthy place. I don't understand how you lie to yourself and make yourself believe that this is you again being morally superior, when really what you're trying to do is police the way another person dates or who another person loves. And at a certain point in your life, which Laverne is now over 50, I myself am Gen X, not quite to Laverne's age, but I am Gen X, and I can tell you that the older you get, the less you care about the way anybody feels about your choices when it comes to your dating life. Because at the end of the day, those people aren't the ones that are going to keep you warm. Those people aren't the ones that are going to go to a movie with you. Those people aren't going to listen to you when you've had a hard day and you just need someone to open up to. All of these things are the things that really matter, and the people that are online talking about you matter less and less every day, matter less and less to what it is you're doing and the way you feel about yourself. And the other people that I've paid attention to online when it comes to this particular topic are trans women. And I noticed that when it comes to trans women, especially other Black trans women, they really do seem more willing to understand that there might be a little more here at play than just the way that a person votes. Because what I've always noticed, and what any trans person will tell you, especially trans women will tell you, is that it's already hard enough for trans women to date in the first place. Because one, you've got to find somebody that's actually willing to admit that they're into trans women. Then you've got to find somebody that's not going to treat you like a fetish or a secret. And then you've got all the other stuff that we all just deal with when it comes to personalities and dating. So with the extra factors plus the normal factors that we all deal with figured in, why would you want to complicate that or further disqualify people because of the way that they voted? So my thinking on all of this is, if people really claim to love or respect Laverne Cox and think that she's been good for the community and appreciate her advocacy or her contributions towards trans acceptance, I think that it would be smarter to maybe be a little bit more open and see what it was she was able to learn from that relationship, because she does talk about the fact that she was actually in love with this person. It wasn't just a superficial thing, and that wasn't the reason that she was with this person. And she also made a video where she was kind of explaining it to people, because people had gotten so upset that it really was a bit deeper than maybe she made it sound in the initial video. Like, I would imagine that Laverne was thinking from the perspective of a person in show business that's trying to promote a show and just thought, oh, people will find this a little bit spicy, I want to check it out. And instead everybody turned on her. So she ended up making a follow-up video where she was trying to to explain a bit more and just let everybody know that it wasn't necessarily what meets the eye, and it was one of the things that she wanted to talk about during her show so that people can maybe understand a little bit better or maybe get a better sense of where she is. And me personally, I don't agree with Laverne Cox's politics, but at the same time, I have always understood that Laverne Cox has been important for the trans community specifically, has been really good representation for Black trans women, and in general has, in my opinion, been a net positive for the LGBTQ community. So maybe rather than obsessing on who Laverne Cox has dated, which is something that really doesn't affect your life, concentrate on the positive contributions that Laverne Cox has made towards trans acceptance that the queer community has recently pissed away. And maybe ask yourselves why you would think that a person like Laverne Cox should bow down to the unglamorous do-nothings that are terminally online worried about who strangers date. Because while I can't speak for Laverne Cox, I can 100% tell you that I did not come out of the closet and say that no matter what anybody says, I'm going to be me, to at the end of it all answer to people that are neither thin nor good looking enough to actually be part of the gay community, so they decided to call themselves queer. Anyway, that's where I'm at on it. Let me know what you feel down below in the comments. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to see a video of me talking about that debacle of a traffic stop that happened in Jacksonville, Florida, click the video on your screen. Other than that, as always, thank you for watching. This has been Ty Rivera, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world.
They bought into his bullshit.